In problem number 6, we've got a diagram with a sector, and this circle is center 0, so I'm going to label this the center because it doesn't look like a circle right now. This radius is 8, which means this other side, OP, must be 8, and they give the angle listed here, and they also tell me that OR and QR are perpendicular. So now they want to find the exact shaded region, area for the shaded region. So basically, we're going to start by finding the area of the triangle, and then we're going to take away the area of the sector, and that'll be the area of the shaded. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. In this case, it's going to be 1/2 RO times RQ. Well, clearly we know what 1/2 is, and RO is pretty obvious, that's 8. We got to figure out what RQ is. That's one side of a right triangle, and I happen to know an angle. In fact, it's going to be the opposite side. I also know the adjacent side, so I'm going to use tangent, and the angle is pi over 3, and the opposite over adjacent, I'm going to call the opposite RQ. Multiply both sides by 8, and I get 8 tangent pi over 3, and that's going to be my RQ. And so when I do that, type it in the calculator, I find out that RQ is equal to, well, let's try it, see what happens. Plug it in here, pi over 3. I'm going to get 8 square root of 3. So RQ is equal to 8 square root of 3. Now, I'm not going to make a decimal out of that because it says it wants the exact area, and I don't want to round. And once I know what the length of RQ is, 8 square root of 3, I can plug that into my formula for the area of a triangle. And 8 times 8 is 64. Half of 64 is 32. So the area of a triangle is going to be 32 square root of 3. Now all I got to do is find out the area of this sector. And I'm going to be in business because I'm going to just subtract them. So let's label this because I'm going to have to come back to this later. And let's go ahead and figure out the area of the sector. The area of the sector, I've got the angle and I've got the radius. So it really is just an issue of knowing the formula, which is 1/2 times the angle times the radius squared. And I'm going to plug what I know in. I know this, I know this. The radius squared is going to be, or 8 squared, that's the radius. And so now when I multiply all that stuff together, I'm going to find out that the area of the sector is going to be 32 pi over 3. And so now all I'm going to do is subtract the 2 and label it. So my shaded area is going to be the area of the triangle minus the area of the sector. And what that's going to give me is 32 square root of 3 minus 32 pi over 3. And I'm done. I just got to make sure it's labeled carefully, and it is going to be centimeters squared because it is area, and I'm in good shape. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope that helped.